So what are you going to do with that? The challenge is most people think they have more time, even though subconsciously we know, oh, I could walk outside and get hit by a bus. Like, we all kind of know that, but we're here to kind of like agitate that and really, challenge you to think about these things. So if, like he's proposing, what if that number wasn't in the 10,000?
What would you do if you only had 9 days left to live?
Only 9 days left.
Hello, hello, hello. I'm Sam.
I'm Brandon.
And this is the Middleton Methods podcast, where you get to be a fly on our wall to get practical tips, gain insight, and laugh at our expense.
Hi. Hardy hard.
Oh my gosh, you get cheesier and
Welcome,
cheesier
everybody.
every single week.
Yep. I'm a dad. That comes with the territory.
I'm a dad. Comes with the territory.
All right.
Looks like I'm going to be in trouble later. Mm-hmm. Hello, everybody. How are you doing this week? We're excited to be with you on the Middleton Methods podcast.
Our birthday edition.
Birthday edition. Whoop, whoop.
I love it. So you said, as if we needed any more evidence that you guys are supposed to be together. Our birthdays are 2 days apart. I was dying.
Oh, yes. So for, our whole relationship together, we've been sharing our birthday. And basically what we do, because...
Which is a bonus.
Right? Our birthdays are 2 days apart. So, it is. Except, okay.
I get 2 birthdays.
So Facebook-wise, we get love for, days. Because there's, the... early people the day before all the way to the day after your birthday. Mm-hmm. So there's basically a 5-day span that we're both getting birthday love, which is awesome and amazing. And shout outs to everyone that gave us love for our birthdays, because I love it. I can't get enough of it. And I like to take a little bit of time every year on Facebook, which gets harder and harder the more connections we make, to say hi and ask how people are doing, or let them know that I think about them or whatever, right?
You don't want to just like everyone's, especially when, because there's a lot of people that'll just do happy birthday, but then there are people that'll make an emoji, or they'll say something nice and ask a question, or you know what I mean, and they make it obviously more personalized, and you can't just not respond. I feel can you respond? Respond? I feel
it drives me nuts, the people that the next day they're like, thank you all so much for the birthday love, which I did after I individually went and said thank you to everybody, which you probably did not. So you probably don't feel very good about yourself right now, do you?
Social media etiquette. No, I feel I actually have to record a short video and give a comment to call everybody out. I just want to have my news feed up and just be you and 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 you.
There's a lot of people.
I'm going to be efficient with my thank yous.
I spent a good part of my day, so you would be busy, or we had company in town. So when you guys were busy doing other things, I was all right, let me go say thank you and hi to as many people as I can in the next 5 minutes. Awesome. But it was amazing and I loved it. And obviously that brings us to our Middleton Madness, which is birthday madness. Mm-hmm. It wasn't crazy. We had a so my birthday was on Saturday. How we do it in our house is whoever's birthday is closer to the weekend or on the weekend, so sometimes it's on our actual birthday, right? That's how we celebrate. This year it was my birthday on Saturday. It's been a few years since we got to celebrate on mine. I think this is the first time, so it was very exciting. And because last year yours I think was on Saturday, so we got to celebrate on Saturday. It happened to be our monthly dinner with the other couples in Tampa that we all go. We're all in business together, so once a month we get together and have an amazing dinner. Yeah. It's always so amazing. The connections are amazing. The conversations are amazing. This month there was 20 of us at dinner, but that's all the reservation could hold. And then a few people met up with us afterwards. Since it was our birthdays, we stayed out late.
Rebels.
It is just... it's a phenomenal time. I'm really blessed. And then on top of it, my girlfriend texted me last week and said, is it cool if I book flights to come down for your birthday? And I was like, duh. So she came in really this is last minute, right? It's 5 days notice. She booked the tickets, came down, spent a long weekend with us. It was really sad to drop her off yesterday. I didn't want to see her go because we had a really good time and really good conversations. So overall, it was a really amazing birthday. I would say the only madness about it, in my opinion, you may have something to add in here, but the fact that we're getting old. Mm-hmm. We're getting old. So
my gray hair shows it. That's why I keep this
let's not even talk about grays, because I'm getting gray hair, and my girlfriends are like, I don't even see it. And I'm like, yeah, right, because I can see it, like, all over my head. It's pretty depressing. But we went out, obviously, for dinner, and then it was a very long dinner trying to feed 20 people, and it's a Saturday night in Tampa, so the restaurants are packed. So it was just busy, busy, busy at the restaurant. So we were at dinner for, gosh, a long time.
2.5 hours? 3 hours?
Like 3.5 hours. And then we went across the bridge, you know, just to hang out, grab a couple of drinks at this like outside bar. And I think we were there for another, some live music. I think we were there for another couple of hours.
Yeah.
By the time when all said it was done, I was laying my head down on the pillow at like 2:30, 3 in the morning. And I cannot handle going to bed that late anymore.
I think the kids knew it was our birthday because they gave us a great present, and I think they slept in like an extra hour and a half.
No, they did not.
Okay. It always feels like that when they don't come in the room at like 2 in the morning for that little like, hey, I got to go to the bathroom, but I'm just going to wake up the whole house. For
right.
And then you're like, I don't feel like I got 5 hours.
But they wouldn't have even woken us up because we didn't even go to bed till that time.
True.
We would have been like, yeah, we're just going to bed. But so getting old, we're getting old. Yeah. And it's harder and harder to stay up that late. And every once in a while, we test the limits of like, yeah, we can do it. And I had to have coffee.
We feel old.
I had to have a coffee at like 9 to make sure I could stay up for a few more hours. And then the next day, I was exhausted. It was Sunday night. We decided to watch a movie, and I fell asleep on the couch at like 9 during the movie. I was so pooped. I couldn't even keep my eyes open anymore. So the madness is how old we're getting. 35 feels like 52.
Hey, and you know what? We could do it all over again next weekend because it's 4th of July.
Yes.
So we're going to be having a whole
I'm not staying up that late.
No, we won't stay up that late. Well, fireworks and stuff we might. We'll see.
It's on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
That's going to be challenging.
No, with the barbecue. Anyway, we'll talk about that on next week's episode.
Yeah, we'll have some July 4th madness next week for you. But let's talk a little bit about
this time of year.
Right. And what birthdays do, like just break it down for us, Brandon.
We think about, obviously, we're that one more year older, so you have those times where you're like, all right, 33 or 35 or whatever age you are, you're thinking like, it's been another year. And I think back and I'm like, where did I want to be or what did I want to do by the time I was this age, or like, wow, that year flew by super quick, right? And you start thinking, how much time do you have left to do all the other stuff? So that's what we're kind of...
it's almost like a mid-year check-in for us because our birthdays are halfway through the year.
Right.
So we literally do this at the end of the year. Like, wow, it's been another year, and what do we do? What are our goals for, 2017 we were doing, just 6 months ago. And both of our birthdays are in June, so it's like at the end of June. So it's literally like our 6-month check-in for the year, and we seem to do it twice a year.
Third quarter of the year starts next week. Wow. Think about it.
Gosh, this year's flying by. Yep. So anyway... With that said, it just brings us to like life is going by very quickly. It's especially with kids and our business and our real estate investing. It's almost like a blur sometimes. Like when we look back and we're like, wow, it's been another year. Like this is crazy. And it just got us talking about
how much time do we have left?
It's kind of weird and sad to think about, but... Brandon wanted me to think about this depressing topic of how many more days we would have together.
It's not. It just is. It's
life and death.
Unfortunately,
is a part of life.
We've had a lot of conversations over the years with different people, and you see it in the media. You see it all over the place, and it's like a lot of people don't really think about that. They probably don't want to. It's not exactly the most positive. Death
especially
can be
somebody
scary.
like me. I'm a non-confronter.
But I think about it every day, but especially around my birthday. So we did some research and figure out what is the average lifespan. Which, funny enough, it's different for people living in different countries, but it's different for men versus women. Women live longer.
I think less stress.
I don't know.
Why is that? We didn't do that part of the research. Now I want to know why men don't live as long.
We're out We're out
we're just stronger
hunting
people.
And gathering.
Women are stronger. Anyway, so we did the math. They say the average male lives to be 76 years old. The average female lives to be 81. And then the real depressing part for myself and Brandon as we do the math, we figure out he's got 15,695 days to live, and I have 16,790 if we lived to that average.
Yeah.
With our lifestyles and stuff, they can actually project based on your lifestyle, and both of our projections are actually longer, but we're basing this actual math off the average.
Yep.
So
we've got a little exercise for you to do. I challenge you to do it. Don't just like be like, oh yeah, I got till 76. I don't need to worry about it because it's so far away. So
figure out how many days
we broke
you got
it down
left.
to days.
Yeah. So if you take so let's say we'll do mine. A female lives to 81, so I subtracted 35 because I'm 35.
Subtract your age, yep.
And then
how many years does that give you left?
Oh my gosh.
Math
56?
on the spot.
56?
81 minus, yep.
Is that right?
35, yep.
Whoop whoop.
46.
Oh no. I'm going to have 56 more. I'm just going to push it to have an extra 10 on there. And then you times that by 365 days in a year. That gives you how many days you have left.
16,790, which sounds like, to me, it sounds like a lot. I don't know, maybe other people are like, whoa, only 16,000?
Yeah, but then depressingly, we do
your math.
How many miles
do you have on your car?
We do your math, and even though you're 2 years younger than me, your average life expectancy for a male is only 76. So it says that you only have 15,695 days left, and that's a 1,000-day difference, which is 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
So it's saying you're going to go 3 years before me, and that really made me a little not happy about that. A little not happy. I don't like that. I don't like those numbers. So now I'm like, okay, what do we need to do to keep Brandon alive for another 3 years? Because I need like my little notebook ending where we're dying in each other's arms and we fall asleep one night and that's the end of our lives right there. Mm-hmm. I don't want to live for 3 years without you. So this is where it really gets the conversation cooking.
Yeah,
right?
We were talking about, all right, well, that sounds like a big number. So let's kind of compare that to something. So how many years have we been together?
16.
And you multiply that by 365.
And it was like 6,000 years.
6,000
days. It can feel like that some days, though.
5,840 days. That's a lot of days, and it does feel like just...
eternity.
Not yesterday. Wow.
I'm just kidding.
You are in a mood today.
You know I'm quite content with our relationship together, dear.
Content. That was a great choice of words.
Content. That's happy. Happy is content.
Peyton was born like yesterday. She's almost 4. 4 times 365.
1,200 days.
1,400 days. I mean,
but that's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Total blur.
Yep.
I can't believe she's going to be 4. Okay. So let's not ramble on too much about all these crazy numbers. The point is, go figure out your numbers and figure out how many days you got left. But where this gets a little crazier is nobody's guaranteed. This is an average of life expectancy.
Yep.
So the only way to get an average is for some people to live longer than the life expectancy and some people to die earlier than the life expectancy. So there's no script or ledger
genetics,
or anything anywhere saying
accidents.
Sam Middleton is going to live to be 91 years old. Like, there's nothing saying that. Or that I'll live to be 80. Or that I'll live to be 50. There's nothing even saying I was going to live till yesterday.
Right. It's not promised. We got it. It's not promised. So, do you act as if you have that many days left? Do you wake up every day like,
You know what?
16,789.
Let's be a little vulnerable about this for a minute. Mm-hmm. Most days I wake up like, what am I getting done today to get us closer to our goals? Or what am I doing today
I'm embracing that a whole lot more.
Spend more time with you?
One day at a time.
What am I doing today to be a positive influence for my children? What am I doing today to have a loving relationship with you? What am I doing today so that I'm not staring at the dirty dishes in the sink? Whatever the case is, right?
I'll get to the dishes after this podcast, okay? It was a long weekend.
Can you tell a theme in the house that I really like the sink to be empty? But more importantly is the fact that I don't do that every single day. And how powerful is it to do those? I do it a lot, and I do it a lot more the older I get. The more I realize that like not every day is promised, or the more important to me things become in my life, like you and the children. I think about those things more and more and more. Almost not in an unhealthy way, in a healthy way, because I'm inspired by that and I want to live a full life.
You know, most very successful people actually have an obsession about death.
Really?
Not that they are afraid they're going to die, but more like they use it as like the ultimate analogy. Like, you don't know when, so
right.
So take advantage of every moment in every way.
Right, and unfortunately, I don't do that every day. Sometimes I get mixed up in like what I have to do that day, or my attitude's not right when I wake up. Like I get up on the wrong side of the bed or whatever, and I don't.
And I push her over.
Think, and I don't think about those things every single day. So I do it more often than not. Nowadays,
every year, more and more.
Right,
yeah.
Right. But how important is that to be thinking about those things and just how precious life is? Like, there's been times in the past where like we've had an argument and you've walked out the door to go do whatever. I don't know, whatever it was back in the day. Like we had college or something, so we had to leave for class or whatever it was. And I would literally be like, running to just go get a kiss from you, because like those things freak me out. Like, what if that was the last time and we spent it fighting? And like, I don't like to have that kind of like, I would never want that to be the last thought going through your head, is that we've fought, right? Can't go down that hole or I'll start crying. So I think you found this really cool clip that just kind of inspires people's brains to think along those lines of that you're not promised every day, and what are you doing with your life? Right?
Yeah, so we have, you said you don't do it every day, and this is why I'm so intent on the, getting to the gym and just working out every morning. And I listen to this 8 tracks. You'll always hear me talk about this app called 8 tracks. I listen to these motivational things. So I do pretty much start my day every day hearing these simple messages. And there's one that challenged, we're talking about thousands and thousands of days left, but Tony Robbins in his TED Talk talks about what if you only had 9 days left. So I'm going to play this clip, and I want you to listen to it, and we'll cut it in here, and we're going to chop up 3 things that he breaks out in this audio. So here we go.
When do people really start to live? If 9 days from now you were going to die, who would you call? What would you say? What would you do? What is it that drives you in your life today, not 10 years ago, or are you running the same pattern? What's your target? What are you after? If decisions shape destiny, what determines it is 3 decisions. What are you going to focus on? Right now, you have to decide what you're going to focus on. In this second, consciously or unconsciously, the minute you decide to focus on something, you got to give it a meaning. And whatever that meaning is produces emotion. Is this the end or the beginning? An emotion then creates what we're going to do, or the action. So think about your own life, the decisions that have shaped your destiny. In the last 5 or 10 years, 15 years, haven't there been some decisions you've made that if you made a different decision, your life would be completely different? Explore your web, the web in here. The needs, the beliefs, the emotions that are controlling you. Once you know what the target that's driving you is, and you uncover it for the truth, you don't form it, you uncover it. Then you find out what's your map, what's the belief systems that are telling you how to get those needs. Every day, give your all, love your all. Don't let anything ever stop you. If you're willing to risk your life for it. Decision is the ultimate power. That's how do you take the invisible and make it visible, right? How do you take what you dream about and make it happen? give your all, love your all. Don't let anything ever stop you.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's pretty deep.
Whoa. What'd you take away from that?
So
recap what he says.
He's breaking down basically like the three things you need to be thinking about, because what if you only have 9 days left to live? We're breaking down this number.
So that's the challenge we're talking about.
Right.
It's okay, how many days do I have left? And what is, so what are you going to do with that? The challenge is most people think they have more time, even though subconsciously we know, oh, I could walk outside and get hit by a bus. Like, we all kind of know that, but we're here to kind of like agitate that and really, challenge you to think about these things. So if, like he's proposing, what if that number wasn't in the 10,000?
What would you do if you only had 9 days left to live?
Only 9 days left.
What would you do?
What would I do?
Yeah.
Wow. See, even I don't have it all clear. I would definitely do as much for others. Obviously, the home unit, and like I would want to experience as much as I could, and have the kids and you guys experience as much with me, like create as many memories in 9 days as humanly possible. And I would probably devote a little bit of that time to creating, create something that would live on after I'm gone for the kids. I don't know if it'd be like recording little like messages for them, so that they had like dad's advice. I can't even talk about this stuff.
I know. I can't either, so don't ask me, because I'm not answering it back. I'll write a blog about it or something, but I am not answering that today on the podcast. That'll be like, we'll be in a pool of tears if I answered that right now.
Tell you one thing, I don't think I would sleep for 9 days. I would be going.
Just take a lot of like caffeine pills and drink a lot of coffee and keep yourself jazzed up. So the first thing he asked is, and these are the things that we want to challenge you with right now. Yeah. What are you focused on? Mm-hmm. And I don't want this to just be like 9 days is aggressive. Like, more than likely you're going to live longer than 9 days. So, but thinking about like your life in general, like what are you focused on, right? That was his first question. And 2, he's saying give it a meaning.
Well, hang on. What are you focused on? Are you focused on just getting to the weekend? Are you just focused on a promotion? Are you just focused on $1? Mm-hmm. Are you just focused on the next party? Are you focused on making an impact, or creating a company, or creating jobs, or giving something back to your community? Or there's very different things you could be focused on. And I know I've fallen into the trap plenty of times.
Well, here's the thing. There's no right or wrong answer. It's it's what you want. So what are you focused on? It's kind of like saying, what are your goals? Mm-hmm. But we're thinking more like long term with your life. What do you want to be focused on? Those things for us have changed throughout the years. We've shared plenty of times now that we were much more financially focused earlier on, and when we were first starting business and kind of like in survival mode. And as we've developed more, those things changed for us, especially after getting married and having a family. And now our beliefs and things have changed. So at the same time as being whatever you're focused on now may be different. We sat down a long time ago, which is part of my challenge for you guys today, is to sit down and write out what your perfect day is. What does that look like? And we did this activity like 10 years ago.
A few times too.
We've done it 5 years ago or so. And like we consistently do this over and over, because what I wrote down 10 years ago is surprisingly, we didn't have kids back then, and we weren't even married yet. So like those things were a part of my life, but I didn't know that I was going to have one girl and one boy at the time, right? So in my mind, I have boys, and this, you know what I mean? And those things have changed. Oh my gosh. He's whipping out the journals that we wrote our original
You keep going. I'm just actually, you just made me curious, because this is from 2009.
From 2009. Woo, that's actually a year before we got married. So, what are these things that you're focused on? And you really need to dig deep and give this meaning. Like, sit down, take time this week. Take time this week. It may take you 10 minutes, you're rushing it. So I'm challenging you. Take 30 minutes to an hour and just go somewhere and sit down and think about the things that you would focus on if life was exactly the way you wanted it. What does life look like? Who is there? What are you doing? What are you wearing if you want to like dig that deep? Like what kind of person
what time do you wake up? What are you eating?
Yeah. What do you feel that day? Like what does your perfect day look like?
In 2008, I said that I'd be 175 pounds.
Oh, very tone with 10% body fat.
Are you reading it?
I am tan and have short hair. I do
Stop. This is personal, okay? Well, I went into very extensive detail.
So apparently you wanted to gain weight because you were not 175
I was like 160
then.
back then.
Oh my gosh.
Obviously.
And you have put on those 15 pounds of muscle, so then he had to, now you're more than 175.
Okay. So what are you focused on?
And then, where are you right now, right? Like, he's saying you have to give this an emotion because once you give it meaning, you give it an emotion. And once you give it an emotion, then you then want to go out and take action, right? So basically, you have to go and inspire yourself to live a fuller life.
So just to share my experience real quick, and you may have something else. For me, my mom dying and then my grandfather dying was not I attached a meaning to it that it wasn't this tragic thing that happened to me that I'd be a victim. I attached a meaning to it, like, because my whole drive beforehand was hurry up and be successful so you can take care of mom. Once that went away, then the emotion and the meaning I put behind it was mom and grandpa were the parents of my life. I have to live for them, right? I have to create the family. I have to create the legacy. Like, my last name would have died after me without having the kids. Like, I put all that meaning behind two people in our family dying. And that I've only had obviously more since then, but
yeah, on my side, it was always driven by me and you. So it was really like, what were we doing as a couple? What kind of love were we going to have for the next 80 years? I want to be old and happy with you, sharing story, just telling. I'll be deaf and you'll be mumbling, so we'll be screaming at each other to try to listen to each other on the front porch, but in a very happy and peaceful way, rocking in our rocking chairs, having our own Arnold Palmers, and just like talking and BSing about life and how wonderful and full of a life we lived together as a couple, and the traveling we did. Those are all the things that used to come in my mind, that still do come in my mind, that I have to go back and check myself on. And how close are we to that? What needs to change so that we're getting to that point?
People say, people talk about your why a lot. And I love the quote. I think I heard it at one of our old network marketing conference that we went to. They said, if your why doesn't make you cry, then it's not big enough. So a lot of people have big whys, and they'll have like what we call the beauty pageant or the Miss America version, right? It sounds very like, I'm going to change the world, and like, and there's nothing wrong with it. It just, is it really, is it make
polished.
You right? Like if it doesn't make you emotional, then the challenge is it's not going to make you take action, and that's what the third thing he was saying, right?
Yeah, then you have to go out and take action and decision, right? You have to make the decision that you're going to live this fulfilled life.
The emotion causes the action. Like, why don't you get out of bed to go work out sometimes? You don't feel like it. But if you knew, like, if you didn't do that workout, you were going to die. Or if you didn't, someone close to you was going to get hurt. Like, it would create an emotion where you'd be like, I don't care that I didn't get enough sleep. I don't care that I don't feel like doing it. I'm going to do it because that emotion is behind it.
Is backing it and pushing it. Ooh, look at that. So then, obviously, ultimately, like, you have to challenge yourself. Like, if you're waking up every day and you're not happy, it's not saying that your whole life is in shambles or something. Like, there just might be one area of your life that in your perfect day, you want it there, and right now, that's not in existence in your life, and you need to now make the decision that you're going to go and change those things in your life and be pushing towards that perfect day that you want, right? So an example would be if your marriage isn't flourishing as much as you would like it to flourish, well, there's two people in that relationship that need to go take action to make it the way that you want to make it, right? And more importantly, have you had a discussion with your spouse? Because my perfect day is different than Brandon's perfect day. So what would we be doing to combine those perfect days together? Right? Like even I was not looking to be fit and in shape, I don't think. I'm sure I could look, but I remember the overall of my original perfect day was like, I wake up to my bedroom doors are open and the temperature is perfect and the sun is just starting to rise and I hear the waves crashing onto the beach and the light breeze from the ocean is coming in, like basically blowing my like see-through curtains in my bedroom, and I wake up and you're already out of bed because I know you get up earlier than me, so I have a little bit of time to like, even all the way back then he was like that, right? I have a little time to stretch and wake up by myself, and I can basically hear the children's laughter down in the kitchen. Are you looking to see if this is actually legitimately what I wrote? It is. So yeah. I go downstairs to go have breakfast, and I think I said we had like a maid or a nanny or something, like, you know, a house mama.
You even named our kids, which we changed the name, which is funny.
Oh yeah, what they Blake and I don't know who the other one would have been. Was it Blake and Brandon?
I don't know.
Was it Baby B?
Yeah.
Baby Brandon. I was right. And Blake, yeah. So, you can read that later. Stop it. Well, now we're going to get on the podcast. We're going to go read these things. So that, you know, and then I went on about how the perfect day was going to go. Basically, we went on. What were you doing
for work?
We did our work because we're motivated and inspired to go make an impact, even all the way back then. So we wanted to go work, and then.
This was actually 2008.
2008.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was at a mastermind program. Masterminds literally change lives. They really push you to the limit. We'll have to do a whole podcast on masterminding sometime because they are just like, they are expensive as all heck, but they...
Sometimes some of them are free. We're going to one in August that we were invited to.
That is true.
So
that is true. All right, so that's your challenge for the week, to go out, really start. What is it? What are these things? You're never promised till tomorrow. I don't want to beat a dead horse here. So
yeah, calculate, do the math, quick math if you haven't already done it, and then challenge yourself to, you know, just to stir up those emotions. But, you know, kind of ignore that number and just think, you know, if you only had 9 days left. And you really do need to sit down in a quiet place and go take some me time to think about this. This isn't something that you go do with other people. Do it by yourself first. And when we did these originally, and even over time, like when we go and redo these things, we do them separately, but then we always come together. Right.
You know, because our relationship is ultimately one of the most important things to us. So yeah, changes and scratches as we were talking probably, or I was changing my mind about things, and then we shared those things together and made some edits so that we were, you know, satisfying both parties and we both got everything we wanted. So it's really fun to do, but it's, you know, bring your tissues. You're gonna cry. If you're not crying, then you're doing it wrong. And reach out to us so we can help you, you know, pull those emotions out. So that's what we got for you this week, and I hope that's inspiring and pushes you guys.
Yeah.
It's a powerful thing. As you can see, like when we get choked up and stuff talking about those things, like it's so important to us to really leave a legacy and be the best parents we can be and the best husband and wife we can be, and even be like the best friends we can be to our friends. Like all these things are so important to us, and they literally pull so much emotion from us that we break down sometimes. And I was talking with my friends recently, and I said, it was actually Saturday night, I was saying how grateful I was for all our friends, and I said, sometimes I just like randomly cry about how grateful I am to have them all in my life. Like, I'm going to get choked up right now. Hold on. I'm always like, pull it together, woman. And they laughed at me. And I said, no, seriously, like sometimes I'm in the shower and I just need to like cry it out for a minute and then move on with my day. Like, it's a powerful feeling. It's a good cry.
Makes you move.
It makes me want to give more to those relationships too. Like it makes me want to go and like not help my friends as much as possible, but just be there for them and support them in the things that they're doing too. Like those things are just super powerful. And it could just be like things to you right now could be financial, right? Like you may be
hey, when we were in survival mode, focusing on the money was a very emotional thing.
But how interesting. We were so, like, we borrowed money to go to that mastermind.
Yeah.
So we were, like, in the hole big time just to attend that thing. And we got to go 2 for 1 because we couldn't afford to both make it there. And even at that, like, we were not just talking about money. So money is not, it's never been our driving force, even though we've always wanted to make more money. Like, some of the things
it's always what the money can give you.
Obviously, a house on the ocean. We weren't in some bungalow. Like, I was, it was some nice house on the ocean here. Bungalows are nice too, though. But you know what I mean. Like, we weren't in some shack on the beach or something.
All right, moving right along.
All right. Brandon's no BS business tips. This one comes from, the note says Mashali. I think he meant to say Michael. From Michael in Arizona. He asked, what are you doing to ensure you continue to grow and develop as a leader?
Great question. Thanks, Michael, for sending that in. I think the key word here is grow, right? And we've been talking about growth. We're constantly talking about growth, personal development. This is a question that really touches on personal and professional development, because in order to be a good leader, you've got to be growing and challenging yourself as well, right? So when I hear growth, I always think about learning, studying. So what books are you reading? What YouTube videos are you watching? What other leaders are you kind of following their breadcrumbs and learning from? And I got a couple here that I just pulled off the bookshelf. Obviously, John Maxwell's got a million books. He's known for leadership training. So the 21 Indispensable Qualities of a Leader.
That's a mouthful.
Right. And then I've really been loving everything that Dave Ramsey has about leadership. They have a whole brand just called Entree Leadership. It's not just a book. They have extensive workshops and everything around Entree Leadership. But I wanted to pull something out of here just as an example of John Maxwell's book. So the 21 qualities, the number 2 quality he said is charisma. And this is one that I've was challenged with, especially early in business.
Yeah.
Being like that, likable person. Like, I think of leaders as they're usually not the dominating, or what's the word where you're like, I say you do.
Very like strong.
There's a word. There's like a political word for it. I forget. It'll come to me. But I have struggled about, like, I just want to get work done. So I really would rather just focus on the work than focus on, like, your feelings, and that has had me be a bad leader in the past with people. So charisma to me means that, like, having that kind of like likability with your team, and like your people want to come to you and they look to you for help and support and what have you. So he talks about charisma in here, and he says that there are 4 pieces of it. So 1, charismatic people love life. So they enjoy working for people who enjoy life. 2, they put a 10 on every person's head. So these people, they look at their team members as valuable people, not minions, right? They look at them, they see the best in people. I know I'm to that by a fault at times, but I'd rather see that than the reverse. They give people hope. And charismatic people share themselves. They're transparent. They share wisdom, resources, and they share themselves and their journey. So being that transparent. So I just wanted to share that with you. But yeah, that's what I'm doing constantly to develop as a leader. I have a ton of books about making money, about real estate, about business, about investing. But I've started to, in the last few years, as our company has grown and we've had to bring on more employees, leadership is one of those things, is super important, and you treat it the same way. You have to invest in that growth. So
yeah, and I want to throw in really fast too, like when you know what niche you want to be the leader in, right? Like it may not, for example, our Middleton Methods podcast is about marriage, business, parenting, right? It's about like life hacks for, couples. And we have to set an example in order to be a leader in that niche. We can't like just fake that we're a great couple or say we have all the answers and we really don't. Like, we really have to practice what we preach and eat our own cooking. And I think those things are really important qualities as a leader as well. Like, we've been around plenty of people over the years, especially in the speaking industry, that are not the same person on stage as they are off stage. And then we've been around some people that are very congruent and they're the same people on stage as they are off. And we've realized over time how important that is to be that person, like be yourself. And when it's almost like when somebody lies and then you know they're lying, you know what I mean? Like if you're around a liar, I've been around liars plenty of times in my life, and they lie and they lie and they lie, and eventually you just kind of pick up on, like, you know, they're just lying when they tell you a lie. That they almost believe their own lies, but then they don't actually go and act on them. But the people that are just staying congruent, they practice what they preach, or you like to say, eat their own cooking. And when they're doing those things, like, they develop more successfully as a leader because they just follow that. It's almost like their motto or the things they stand for, and they practice those things every single day. And I think that's super important for a leader to be like that as well.
Yep.
Yeah. Did you have anything else that you wanted to add on the topic?
Nope, that's it. That's
cool. We're like moving right along this week. This is crazy. We got a lot of stuff to get done this week, so I think we're just being like super efficient. But I'm digging that, you know, I think we're definitely gonna come in under an hour this week. All right, let's move on to our marriage minute.
Ring those church bells.
Ding, 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 ding. So I wanted to share with you this week. I didn't have any questions come in specifically, but I've had a couple conversations with some friends recently that just want to grow in their relationships with their spouse more. They look up to mine and Brandon's marriage and shares things with me about their marriage, so that we can kind of, you know, talk back and forth and figure out how they can grow or be adding more value. Now, a little while back, Brandon and I, we got through like a week of this thing before we just kind of fell off track, called the Love Dare Day by Day. It's a year of devotions for couples. And I think we both had really good intentions on doing it, but we just have like our own way of doing these things daily with each other already. So to actually sit down and read a page in a book every single day was kind of challenging for us to get into the habit.
You like to read before bed. I like to read in the morning.
And we're just opposite-minded. I mean, I'm okay with that. So what I've learned through this, and then also talking with my girlfriend, is that marriage isn't just about talking to your spouse about things. Like, we're definitely strong on, like, don't go complain to your friends about everything wrong in your marriage. But when you're trying to grow or want to have bring more value to your relationship, or just have a better quality of life with your spouse, it's okay to go talk to people about those things, because you're looking for ways to grow, right? You're looking for growth. And sometimes that growth... As long as they're like
trusted advisors, I guess.
Of course. But I mean, yeah, but I'm not saying like go sit down and say, here's all the things wrong I want to grow in. It's more just like relationship conversations. And through those relationship conversations of talking about what's working, sometimes things come out like, oh, I struggle there, or I could grow there, and be able to pull those things off of other people versus having to pick up a book. Now, you know, I'm not a reader, so I don't like to pick up books and read. I like articles or listening to podcasts and having really inspiring conversations with close girlfriends that I trust is actually one of my favorite things to do. Just usually, and I'm not even going to say usually, because my past friendships were very like drama, like it was drama first, or talking about the negative. Now I really have some really strong female influences in my life where we talk about relationships in a very empowering and inspiring way. We talk about parenting, we talk about business, life, whatever, in an inspiring way. So right now, I am doing this every single day with one of my girlfriends. The point was that I realized that I don't have to do this book with you. This is not necessarily a routine that you and I have to get into together. And it's funny because my girlfriend is looking for just more inspiration in her marriage, and I told her about this book, and she said, should I go read it with my husband? And I thought about it for a minute, and I said, well, that's up to you guys, but from my experience in our relationship, which she agreed upon, is that you can't really just go and push something on your spouse. It's almost like bug repellent. You know, if you come tell me to read a book, I almost want to do the opposite and just like put the book on the shelf and let it get dusty just because you told me to do it sometimes. And it has to be both of their ideas to want to read something like this together. Even still, though, regardless if we wanted to read it together, you and I are living a very similar life together, right?
Yeah. So what we would be lacking in those conversations is a different perspective.
Yeah, that's a really great point. So what I challenged her and I to do was I set my alarm on my phone, and every day I'm sending her a page of this book, and we're reading it together. Now, the first a week, we just read it. It was just like, let's just start making the habit of reading it every day, and that's it. And this book is cool. I'm going to read one page for you guys, but it is, every day, just a little snippet. It's really quick to consume. And then there's go deeper, or this week's dare, or questions to ask yourself. And it's almost a little bit of reflection at the end of that day. It is spiritual based, so there's a lot of passages from the Bible and stuff they say, and it's really...
Take what you want, what you don't want, don't take.
Exactly. Well, regardless, for a very long time, I would have read this book regardless and probably not went and read the passages from the Bible. Mm-hmm. Now, as I'm getting more into my spirituality and stuff, I do go read them, and they're very powerful. It's growing me. Even though I know these concepts and stuff already, it's those little reminders every day to just go, oh yeah, thanks for the reminder. You know what I mean? And they just come right at the right time when they're supposed to, I read something and I'm like, yes, I needed that today. And that was great. And then I move on with the day, and it's just so fast. So I'm sending it to my girlfriend. We're reading it whenever it's convenient to either one of us. And then it doesn't have to be at the same time, right? I just text her the picture of the page.
But it is for the day?
It's for the day.
Okay.
So I text her the picture of the page. And this week, what I started doing, because we're in week 2 right now. So I said, we're almost there at a habit. And we're getting really good at reading these every day. Now let's take it one step further. We need to read it, and we need to start putting these into conversation. So I'm reading it and I'm giving her feedback, and she's reading it and giving me feedback, and we're starting to share on what we read and how that makes us feel, and what we plan to do to go implement this into our life, or what resonated with us, or this really hit that I need to work on this area of our relationship, or this hit that is just a really good reminder, whatever the case may be. Mm-hmm. And now, I think after this week, we're just going to really start pushing. We're almost in a habit of doing this every day together. And if we haven't already been doing things in our own relationship to be putting these into action, we're going to make an effort. What actions are we taking this week? And so we're just easing in there. It's like
accountability group on a whole nother level.
Exactly. And what better thing than, our marriages are both super important to the both of us. And I know how important her marriage is to her, and she knows how important my marriage is to me. So it's been very empowering to find somebody that has such a common goal to want to have a lifelong marriage with their spouse. So, I want to use the word desperate, even though that sounds a little negative. But her and I are both so desperate to have a lifelong, fulfilled, happy marriage that works for the two of us to hold each other accountable. Finding somebody that's not you to do that with has been cool, because I always think that you're the only person I've ever been able to fully rely on to go through anything. And I have that in her as well, which is really cool. But I was telling you the other day, workout challenges and everything, I just feel like everybody else falls off track on their things besides you when I need you there. You know what I mean? So far, so good. And I wanted to just show you guys how awesome this book is really fast by reading this quick day number 3. It's called Love is the Key. Love is fundamental to the success of your marriage, not your current feelings of romance or sexual satisfaction, not a stronger financial standing, or even your spouse's behavior. All of these things can circumstantially change, and they will. But when storms rise and conditions worsen, love-driven marriages endure and work through even the toughest issues without giving up. Genuine love is a master at reconciliation. When love takes over, it compels us to humbly apologize and take full responsibility for our failures, then to fully forgive where our spouse has failed us, over and over again. Resilient marriages are built on honesty, respect, commitment, forgiveness, and endurance. And love constantly inspires all of these things to grow and thrive within us. Though love reaches far beyond marriage, it is a God-given key to its success. You can strip away most of the pleasures you and your spouse hold together, but your marriage hinges on love. So it's short. It takes a minute to read, and then just awesome. A couple minutes of reflection, and then you can move on.
There's only two driving forces: love and fear.
Yep. So again, this is called the Love Dare Day by Day, a year of devotions for couples.
Which I do want to challenge you. I mean, that is going to be obviously a lot around couples and marriage, but love. I mean, you could read that as a single parent and probably think about that same context with family, with friendships, with your kids, with, love is not only for, husband and wife.
Yes, true. This book is specifically for couples. Mm-hmm. Yes, you can, and I do think about that with other relationships.
Challenging another perspective.
But especially if you're looking to work on your marriage, I'm not gonna let you challenge anybody else to think about the other relationships in their life. You need to go focus on your spouse when you're reading this book, and give your time and give the respect to your marriage, because this book is specifically for a year of devotions for couples. And it would be a shame if I was reading this and started applying things to Peyton instead of you, right? So, what I want to do right now is the first 3 people to Facebook message me and give me some marriage minute questions, I'm going to send you a free copy of this book for you to have. So reach out to me on Facebook. I think mine personal one is facebook.com/Sam and Brandon. And then, of course, we have the Middleton Methods on Facebook as well. Or you could just email me at sam@middletonmethods.com. Any of those 3 ways, you will be able to get in touch with me. Send me your Marriage Minute questions so that I can answer them on a future podcast. And I will send the first 3 people a copy of the book.
Sweet.
Yes.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, I think that concludes our episode for the week. Just want to remind everybody to keep on sharing this podcast. Help us get it out to the rest of the world by giving us our reviews and a 5-star rating on iTunes.
Thank you for those that have been going. Our reviews have been climbing. And we have some really fantastic feedback. We love you guys so much. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we're also on YouTube. If you prefer to watch the video version of this, check us out on YouTube. Just search Middleton Methods.
They finally got me to record every Tuesday morning.
Yep. And
we're on the air.
And of course, to never miss an episode and get any of the free tips and things that Sam's putting together, visit MiddletonMethods.com and subscribe to our newsletter. So with that, guys, thank you for investing your most valuable time, your most valuable asset, which is your time, with us today. Listen,
we're a little slow still from the weekend here.
Marriage ain't easy, and we're not perfect, but we are putting in the work to make it work.
We work hard.
Take what you want. What you don't want, don't take. We'll see you next week for another episode of the Middleton Methods podcast.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
I can make the pain disappear, and I can erase the past. Oh, I can make the future shine so bright, and I can make right now all right.